We good? We good?
Okay.
We good. So it's been a busy event.
It has been a busy event.
Days and 2 for you.
Yes.
So where else have you been?
We went straight from Barcelona down to Seville, which of course is the hottest, driest part of Europe.
The hottest, driest city in Europe.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it rained non-stop.
And so what were you there for?
It was the Ducati SuperSport launch.
Nice. Another highly anticipated
Yes.
bike.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's a difficult sort of positioning in the market. Ducati don't want to call it a sports bike, but obviously it is. I think they've shot themselves in the foot a bit. I hate using that phrase. Sorry. But they have, because the front end looks so much like a Panigale, and the rear looks like a bit curvy and a bit
overweight.
I'm not talking about BBWs. I'm just talking about a bit curvy.
BBWs.
Big, beautiful women.
Is that what the code is?
Mm.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know why.
It's not like the BBCs. The informative televisual programming channels with radio muchness.
Yes.
Okay, so pretty front end.
Yeah, I think the front end looks sporty, razor sharp, and the rear it doesn't match the rear. You know, so if you split it down the middle, you look at the front and go wow, and then in the back you just go, oh, it's not. Yeah.
But you can get the twin bodies.
You can get the twin bodies.
Which
do you see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which look
shotgun.
Really nice.
Yeah. But it's a really, really comfortable sports bike. I mean, the last bike of that ilk has to be the Honda VFR 800.
Just about to say, yeah. And it kind of almost looks a bit like that same front end heavy look.
Yeah. Just much nicer.
The sort of raised clip-on sort of setup.
It's a very, very comfortable bike. You know, it's very relaxed. The bars are. It's still a reach to the bars, but they're upright.
Yeah.
You know, there's no sort of discomfort on your back. It's and interesting to point out, actually, while we're in riding position, someone pointed out on Instagram that because it is based on the Monster, so it's the Monster frame.
Okay.
And swing arm, that sort of.
I didn't know that.
There's 2 sticky up bits where your knees go, and because the seat is completely different, there's none of the issues caused by that on the Monster.
Okay.
And someone pointed out, I had to correct him.
Road ride first?
No, it was track first.
Okay.
And this was brilliant. They put wets on. Ducati put Pirelli wets on the bikes. So we were riding the S, the S version on the track.
Yeah.
Öhlins quick shifter, up and down.
Up and
lipper,
down.
which is amazing, among other things. And
which is interesting because the 959 doesn't have a blipper.
No. Yeah, so they put wets on and they let us out, and it was like riding in the dry. So much grip.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Where was it?
Monte Blanco. And it's, you know, of course we didn't get to ride in the dry, but as I said, it was like riding in the dry.
Yeah.
And the chassis is amazing. So much fun. So agile. It's like it's a better version of a sports bike because it's less focused, less serious. So it's just more fun. It's just you're just giggling around.
Which, you know, let's face it, there's so much effort put into chasing hundreds of a second on big, serious whoppers. It's quite nice to have something that's fun and you enjoy it.
Monte Blanco on the SuperSport S on wets. Hard up the box. Top gear. Brakes are really smooth. Enough power on that ABS you can trust. Chuck it on its knee. TC's brilliant, you can see it flashing. Start it up for the cameraman over on the right hand side there. Flick it right. So light and nimble. Ducati don't reckon this is a track day bike, but it'll be damn good fun. and there's enough power there. It feels really good on the side of the tyre. Third, fourth. So much confidence, so much feedback. Ah, that's the end of the session. Right. Oh yeah. This is my favourite bit of the track. Oh, over blind. What a little bike. This feels like a proper super twin.
So the motor is the 937 Testa Stretta lump, similar to the one in the Hypermotard and Multistrada 950. Really old school, lumpy, sort of punchy V-twin.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it would suit the bike as much because it's so much fun in the Hypermotard. It's really, it's a very flat torque curve, very punchy. But it did, it runs out of revs very quickly at the top, and it's almost pointless after $9,000. But it's a really, really good fun motor. Now and again, especially on track, you'd think it could do with another 20 horsepower. But the motor's that fun and that zippy, and the chassis, seeing as it's based on the Monster, it handles so much better than the Monster. Just from having upright bars and some shift in ergonomics and rider weight and different suspension, it's a much better bike and much better handling bike than the Monster, which is marginal gains.
Interesting. Weight? What does it feel? Heavy? Light?
It feels light. Like I say, it feels really agile. It's like I said, it's not, because it's not a focused sports bike. It doesn't need to go to 60 degrees of lean and have that immense grip. Yeah. So it feels, like I said, it feels agile. Very, very good at changing direction. But no, it does not feel heavy at all. It's just that it's a perfect sort of fulcrum of balance. It just feels really nice on the front and back. It's one of those bikes that, regardless of what you do to it, it doesn't upset it.
I saw some pictures of you on it when I was sat here in the rain and the cold, while you were sat in the rain and the cold. And you're not tall.
No.
But you look pretty big.
Yeah, I know. It was surprising.
It's weird. It's like, what's that?
Yeah. What's that? Is it a monster?
What's that? Riding that bike?
Yeah, a lot of people commented that I was riding a mini moto. So it's weird. It's not a small bike.
So it doesn't feel small.
No. It's for a budget Ducati. We'll get to that later on. It's definitely not spindly or diminutive.
Okay. So what forks does it have?
Öhlins. Yeah. On the S model. And on the stock bike, which we rode later in the day on the road, that has Marzocchi forks in the front and a Sachs shock.
Which they use on the entry-level 1299.
Yes.
And more than adequate.
Exactly.
Actually, in some ways, kind of prefer riding on those sometimes.
Well, this is it. This bike, let's be honest, you're not going to see many of these bikes at track days. It's not, it's 110, 113 horsepower Ducati claim. So it's about 100 horsepower at the rear wheel.
Yeah.
But it's good enough for a track. It's just good enough for a track day bike, but I don't know why you buy one of them to take on track. You buy a 959 or something else.
Yeah.
But so the majority of these bikes will be seen on the road, and it is a very, very capable road bike. It's soft, it's comfortable, it's pliable, it's really, really agile. And even though we rode it in the wet, you can tell straight away it's just going to be a mile muncher.
Yeah, and Ducati have they've lacked that in their range.
Yes.
For a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the nakeds, but I think you'll agree with me. It's a very different riding experience. Like travelling long distances on a naked, for example. For me, naked bikes are weekend blast, have a laugh with your mates, nothing too serious, have a great fun, go out and enjoy it. Great.
Yeah.
But now they've got something mid-range. It's not a massive multistrada.
No.
Mid-range that sits right in the middle of that top-end track race focus, which is what most people think Ducati is, and it sits between the weekend joyriders.
Every day. It's an everyday bike.
So it's a swish-looking, pliable, versatile, comfortable, everyday bike with the flash of that Ducati brand, which, let's face it, is going to be a big part of selling that bike. So how much does this thing cost?
Well, for the stock model, it's 11,495, and the S version is, I think, roughly 12.5, which is the same as a Panigale. So
Wow.
it's a strange one. I can't work it out because the spec of the Panigale, although it hasn't got an auto blipper, the rest of it is another level beyond this.
And it's still one of the best looking motorcycles you could ever hope to buy.
Yes.
Wow.
But it's servicing a need that hasn't been previously met by Ducati in previous years. So, you know, it's almost, other than I had some achy wrists where it was riding in the wet and you're really tense and you go, oh, I don't want to crash, I don't want to crash. Ooh. And just having that tense fists, wrists, I got a bit of an achy wrist and I kept having to take it off. But apart from that, that is my only complaint really with it on the road. Yeah. It's it does what it says in the tin. It's comfy, it'll do miles and miles and miles. It's fun, it handles, and
overall it looks good.
Yes, it's
not a Panigale.
It's not a Panigale, and it's definitely caused Marmite opinions on the interwebs. You know, some people don't like it.
Yeah.
But I think I can see it being like the VFR 800. It's going to be more of a mature rider's steed.
Perhaps, but then you got Multistrada, the smaller Multistraders out now.
Sure, but you know, if you want a sports bike that's not going to break your wrist, because the Panigale is an uncomfortable bike.
Yeah, I don't know. I think.
But okay, sorry. If you want a sports bike that's going to do miles, it just goes back to that VFR 800 again. I don't want to kind of cheapens it a bit, but
but then it was a very, very popular bike.
Yeah,
and they sold very many, but I don't think it wasn't priced as hard as that.
No, I was expecting it to be 10 grand.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Hey, Chris, did you know Archon do gloves as well?
Do they?
Yes, they do. The same gloves I wear.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can get like a cheap deal on them?
You know what? There is.
Go to
44teeth.com.
What's our website?
/44rewards.
44rewards.com, rewarding you for our 44rewards.com.